Hello YouTube and welcome back to Scruffy Tales. And yes, I'm bored yet again and also slightly embarrassed about my latest, the previous Armchair General video. It wasn't Armchair General enough, I feel. So I'm gonna go back to this concept, part 2, and cringe it up. Let's see what we can find out and how much we can embarrass ourselves. Let's draw some arrows on a map. Right. And here we go. Frontline, Kupiansk in north, all the way down to Orkiv and Zaporizhzhia region. It seems like Russia is trying to counter the Ukrainian offensive by attacking up in Kupiansk. As far as I can tell, they're not making much headway up here. They're making some headway, it would seem, down here in the Crimea region. Ukraine keeps attacking around Bakhmut. I think this is, as I've said in previous videos, a distraction because attacking Bakhmut forces Russia to allocate troops here. Because if they lose Bakhmut, it would be a massive embarrassment. There's some points of contacts around Donetsk. I'm not sure how intense they are, but it seems to be some shootouts. And down here is where I think the main push will, where Ukraine will try the main push down a vital road. I have a couple of videos dealing with that already. And then we have, of course, the 2 points of attack down here leading towards Tokmak. And people on YouTube seem to be very focused on Tokmak for some reason. I'm not so sure. We'll study it in a bit more detail later on. But first, we will take a look what Russia might be up to over here. Crimea and Russian advances. And what we are hearing is that they're attacking down here into this is a giant forest here. And they seem to be trying to push. This is what they did during the Russian offensive this winter and spring. They were trying to push along this main road towards Zaporizhzhia. And I think there's 2 bridges here across this river. There's also a river down here at Sakitne, I think it's called, the town, that crosses this big river, which is vital if you want to encircle Ukrainian troops down south and link up with the Russian forces pushing out from Bakhmut. Anyway, this is where Russia is trying to advance and gain territory from the looks of it. They are almost at Zaporizhzhia. They've held this ground for quite some time. They tried to reach this bridge, like I said, during the winter and spring offensive. That didn't happen. We'll see if they pull it off now. What I think they are trying to do is reach the river and secure as many bridges as possible. The river is a natural barrier, and controlling the bridges means they control access across the river. So this is what I think is the Russian goal around Crimea. Take this piece of land. They have a natural barrier, that means they can hold on to it, and then they can show off on propaganda outlets how awesome Russia is and that they have taken a lot of ground. It also allows them to potentially stage an assault towards Lyman, whatever it's called, and the bridge down here, this vital bridge over this larger river. So that's the Crimea front. Now let's move down to what Ukraine might be up to. Right, we've seen the couple of days how YouTube and Armchair Generals online have been discussing this area here that Ukraine has taken over. And apparently people think this is very important. I'm not so sure it is that important. It is important in that Ukraine is putting pressure on Russia, forcing Russia to allocate troops over here. But not maybe important in the sense that they're gaining ground. That might be more of a secondary objective. As you can see, there are loads of towns, villages. You have a larger town or city, Vasilivka, and another even larger city down here, Mikhailivka, that Ukraine needs to either go around or get stuck in. I mean, remember the fighting in Bakhmut. You think they're gonna go in here and have 2 Bakhmuts? They're never gonna take these towns this year. So that's why I'm a bit hesitant. And also, if you look at all the fortifications Russia's built here, I mean, Vasilivka and the lines here. If Ukraine goes down here, ooh, they got a lot of work to do. Also, going down here, same thing. But why would Ukraine move this way? What's important? Is it Melitopol? People are talking about Melitopol. They're talking about Tokmak. This is Tokmak, this fortified town, and here we have Melitopol. Interesting to note, we have a road here, a main highway, it would seem, from the front line leading all the way to Melitopol. And then we have a road here between Tokmak and Melitopol. This road, the highway here, is not fortified. Well, here it is and here it is, but the Russian fortifications are following this way, up towards Tokmak. Not following the road, or highway, or whatever it is. Strange, isn't it? It's almost as if reaching Melitopol is something Russia isn't all that worried about. Their defenses seems to be more orientated towards over here, right? This is where they seem to be focused, not south towards Melitopol, but over here. And I wonder why. Let's take a look. It's this stretch of land here between the dam, or what's left of the dam, and this bay. Or is it a lake or a bay area? Here is the and the headset shut down yet again. I have no idea why it's doing that. It's annoying. Anyway, this is the road and the fortifications between Tokmak and Melitopol, the highway from Vasilivka that is unprotected. Here is where we have all the Russian defenses. And they are not defending Melitopol, they are not defending the highway here. They are defending this area here. Because if Ukraine gets through here, they can cut off Russian supply lines coming in to the front. Right? Take a look. Right here. This is what Russia fears. This is what they have built the fortifications to prevent. This area here is fortified not to protect Melitopol, but to deny Ukraine the opportunity to push down and reach the supply lines. So when people talk about, oh, they're going to reach Melitopol, no, not important. The roads here are important. This land here between the bay and the dam, this is what Russia is protecting and defending. And if, moving on here, if we entertain the idea that Ukraine pushes through and begins their push south, well, it's not unthinkable to imagine that they might be heading west towards the power plant, the nuclear power plant, and try and liberate it. This is obviously dangerous because we don't know what Russia will do if Ukraine gets this close, if they start to move towards the nuclear power plant. If Russia abandons it, what will happen? Let's hope it's not a total and life-altering disaster going on if Ukraine approaches the nuclear power plant. Right. Moving on to Kyiv, this attack here. And here we also have had Ukrainian successes that YouTubers like to talk about. And they all say, oh, Robotny is the next town or village to be liberated. I don't know, they might as well, Ukraine might be going this way towards Polowy, for all we know. But YouTube seems convinced that we're going south through all these towns and villages towards Tokmak, the fortified Tokmak, right? Take a look at this. Now, not the most dense defensive line. It appears quite manageable, doesn't it? But I mean, Tokmak itself, we're talking about Bakhmut. This is a fortified Bakhmut. Is this what Ukraine wants? Do they want to go down here and get stuck in a fortified Bakhmut? How many troops will Ukraine lose trying to get in here? And what will they gain by taking Tokmak? I don't know. This is Tokmak. Well, they might gain access to this road down to Berdyansk. If they go down here, might simply just go around Tokmak and then head down here. There's some fortifications along the way, but reaching the sea is important. God damn it, I'm getting the sniffles here. Snivel, what's it called? Sniffles? Snivel? I have no idea. Might even go around, but this road here is fortified towards Militopol, so, not sure. But what is interesting, if they reach Tokmak with troops, it's this road down to Berdyansk and the sea, obviously. Yeah, because I don't think they're gonna get stuck in there trying to liberate Tokmak anytime soon. What is, however, interesting with Tokmak is this here, an airfield. And as I understand it, Russian gunships, attack helicopters, seems to be operating out of this airfield. So being able to deny Russia the use of this airfield would obviously be important. So, God damn it, I think I'm catching a cold here. If we take a look at artillery range with a Caesar using a Excalibur round, Sweden has been involved in developing this bad boy. You can see that if they use Excalibur rounds, they can reach the airfield with no problem. Not sure if they want to waste Excalibur rounds on an airfield, since helicopters can just go up and down and don't need a runway. But, you know, it's doable. A bit more tricky if they use more conventional artillery rounds. Then they really need to get some territory up here so they can move in artillery and start blasting that airfield and hopefully get some of those gunships or ammo depots and so on. So that might be one way to go to deal with Tokmak and the airfield. Who knows? Oh, yeah. Opening a Kherson front, crossing the river. I ignored this in my previous video because I thought that's, not gonna happen, but who knows? It might happen. If they cross the Dnieper and the dam, they need to link up with friendly forces, right? They can't rely on supplies coming over the bridges or the river. I think what they want is push on through here, down towards Kherson, towards Crimea, and cut off the supply lines. And then, once over by the Azov Sea, try and link up with troops coming in from the north. So, this push here, if it happens, or maybe up here and then going down, it needs to be conducted simultaneously as Ukraine gets some headway through here, so they can link up. It's vital. These guys can't be isolated and on their own. They need to push towards friendlies, and they need to push down here so they can link up. And if they're going for the nuclear power plant this way, I think Ukraine might actually jump over the dam, if at all possible, from Nikopol, and gain some territory here and surround the power plant and liberate it. So yeah, that's what I think will happen if they cross the river. They're gonna go down and cut off Crimea, and they don't want to be alone, so they will need to try and link up with friendly forces coming in from the mainland. Or it's all the mainland, but coming in from the north. And in the grander scheme of things, push down here, push in from Kherson and Nikopol, and you get an encirclement. You cut off Russian supplies here, Russian supplies here. Russian troops are encircled, and they will either have to surrender or fight to the death. And this is what I think will be the main push in order to achieve something like this. I've talked about this in other videos, so I won't go through all of this once more, but the idea here is to breach the Russian front line and reach the Sea of Azov in order to cut off Russian supplies here, and then cut off Russian forces over here. And if Ukraine pulls off this as well, well, they are trapped and encircled as well. They might get supplies in from the sea here at Berdyansk, and I think Primorsk is a harbor as well. And possibly down here also. But still, it won't be enough to keep them going. And there's even rumors that Sweden might provide. Oh my God, this is annoying. Anyway, there are rumors on Twitter, of all places. It's so awesome that Sweden might supply Ukraine with RBS-15 anti-ship missiles. Nothing confirmed. But if they do, and Ukraine puts them here and here, well, then they can shut down any ship lanes providing Russians with supplies. So this might actually be what Ukraine is hoping for. Although I don't think, I mean, remember what it looked like up here? That's gonna be tough fighting their way through it. So I think they're gonna cut them off here and then slowly begin pushing west from here until they reach this location. But we'll see what happens. And yeah, that's it. This is my cringer armchair general video, and yeah, I'm not ashamed of it. I have maps, I have drawn arrows, and it's YouTube. I'm allowed. Anyway, let's hope it works out for Ukraine and kick some Russian ass. Go på marsch, Ukraine.